cast and raise up peace on earth. Christ came to earth, bringing love and light, lessons that elevate, leading us to a safe life. Comfort those who make mistakes, the light and the eternal good, and the sweet child singing, bringing to blind dreaming, as the sun to emerge, cast and raise up peace and hope, cast and raise up peace and
Blue, crystal white, the color of the sky. Gray, bushy beard, Santas look alike. Shine on your brothers on earth, suffering, living joy, or in pain. Blue, crystal eyes, the color of the sky. Gray, bushy beard, Santas look alike. Shine on your brothers on earth, suffering, living joy, or in pain. Bezerra de Menezes, Apostle of the good, receive our prayers and also our hearts. Bezerra de Menezes, Apostle of the light, place our pains at feet of Jesus Christ.
Let's shine the light, this world is light up, the consoler to those lonely and afflicted, freedom to his tie without knowing that live is to be part of a greater world. Spirit, his book is light, bright and shine, company of good, benefit line everywhere. Humberto de Campos, for us will care. From poor shacks to nations, leading hearts to liberation, they are Jesus' messengers, missionaries of the light in our lives. Spirit, his book is light, bring
proclaiming out loud a dream that comes true in our lives. The peace that brings grace and holy joy, and compassion for those who are lost. Together in a single voice, rejoice of the job well done, vibrate everyone, spreading charity and light. We are workers of Jesus Christ. Life, life ahead, dear friends, here we are. Faithful workers for the Lord, bringing light and helping hand to those in need of love. Life, life ahead, dear friends, here we are. Let our cheerful voices raise, thanking God for these moments of praise. Com cafras, com cafras, com cafras, com cafras. Make me a channel of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring your love. Where there is injury, your pardon, Lord. And where there's doubt, true faith in you. Make me a channel of your peace. Where there's despair in life, let me bring hope. Where there is darkness, only light. And where the sadness, ever joy. Oh, Master, grant that I may never see so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul. Make me a channel of your peace. me a channel of your praise. Where there's despair in life, let me bring hope. Where there is darkness, only light. And where there's sadness, ever joy.
Hello everyone, welcome to one more study session here at the Light of the Soul Christian Center. We're going to be talking about a little bit about mediums and mediumship today. But before we start, I invite you all to do an initial prayer with me. So I'm going to start sharing my screen and we can begin. So we can all begin here. Let's all close our eyes, taking a deep breath, feeling the presence of Jesus, our dear Master and friend, here with us, as well as our guardian angels by our side, involving us in so much light, so much love, preparing us for this study. May we all have our hearts open to receive the teachings, the new knowledge that is going to be presented to us today. Receiving it with joy, being thankful for the opportunity to be here, to have this resource, to have the opportunity to learn, to grow, and to evolve together here on earth. We thank you, dear God, for this moment. We thank you, Jesus, for being with us. Stay with us, dear friend, throughout this study. So here we are. And like I said, we're going to talk a little bit today about mediums and mediumship, the different types of mediumship. So hopefully we'll be able to understand a little bit more about what mediumship is, who are the mediums, right? And be able to recognize in ourselves, are we mediums? Do we have an ability, a skill of mediumship within us? So, shall we begin? So the definition of mediums, right? The definition that Allan Kardec brings to us in the Medium's book is that a medium or the mediums are all those that feel in any degree the influence of spirit. So any person that might have a feeling, a sensation, see, hear, that may express the spirits or may feel the spirits in any way can be considered a medium. Right? But then who is a medium? So we ask, okay, Kardec tells us that any person that can feel in any degree the influence of spirit can be a medium. But then who are mediums? Who are the mediums? Who is actually a medium? And Kardec tells us in the Medium's book, this is all in the Medium's book in chapter 14 and 15, what we're going to be studying today. Kardec tells us that we all are mediums, a little bit or a little less, a little bit more, a little less. So we all are more or less mediums. And that is very rare, someone that does not have any type of mediumship to any degree, a little bit of sensations, of intuition, of feelings. So we all are a little bit more or less medium. Quite interesting, right? So let's understand a little bit more about mediumship. So mediumship is the faculty through which a relationship between man and the spirits are established. So for us, when we communicate with the spiritual world, then it is through mediumship. We might have been exerting some sort or some type of mediumship in order to get in contact with the spiritual world. And we learn through the medium's book, through spiritist studies, through Kardec's knowledge that he passed through us along with the spirits, that mediumship is not present in everyone in the same way, that different people will express mediumship in a different way. We're not all expressing it in the same manner. So some people will feel it more ostensibly, more deeply. Some people will feel just a little bit. And the same thing about expressing it. Some people will be able to express that mediumship through eyesight or hearing or intuition or feeling in a way that is different than someone else. So when it comes to mediumship, one thing that we gotta learn is that we can never compare ourselves to others, or to think like, oh, I'm not a medium because I cannot see as so and so see the spirits, or I cannot hear as much as the other person hear, or writes, So we can never compare, because it presents in us in different manners. And even with the same kind of mediums, which we're going to see the different types of mediumship today, in the same type and categories of mediums, the expression and the presence of that mediumship might be different in each one. We'll talk a little bit more about that. So the skills are varied, and the skills that the mediums can have, there are many different skills. And as are the types of manifestation, because we're going to see there are different types, different ways that the spirits communicate through us. So different types and kinds of mediumship. The main ones that we're going to study and that are presented in the medium's book, there's a few more than these, but the main ones are we're going to be listing and talking about today. The first ones are mediums of physical effects. So the mediums of physical effects are able to produce physical phenomena, like moving objects, making noises, making things appear or disappear for that matter. So in these type of mediumship, it's not very well seen today. There's no need for that anymore. The medium of physical effects were a lot more present, a lot more prominent when spiritism and mediumship start to appear for mankind, and when back then when the doctrine started to be studied, because at that point people really needed that kind of reinforcement to believe in spiritism, to believe in the spiritual world. And through the manifestations they could see effects, they could see the phenomena, and then that would draw them to explore and learn a little bit more. Today we don't really need that. We have more subtle ways that we can receive the messages from the spiritual world, from the spirits. So we don't see a lot of physical effects medium. Sometimes they're used on treatments for curing of diseases when they need to use a lot of energies to cure and to heal, right? So these are a little bit about physical effects medium. And there are two kinds of physical effects mediums. There are the facultative or voluntary, and these are the ones that are aware that they are physical effects medium, and they can induce this spiritual phenomena through their own will. So if they want to do it, they can do it. If they want to make something appear or materialize something or make something move, they can do it. And at the same time, we also have the involuntary or natural ones, which are the ones that produce the phenomena without intervention of their will, without even realizing. Some people that don't know that it can cause that. So sometimes we see, and a way to describe this would be when we see people saying that things are happening around the house and objects are breaking or noises are being made, and they don't know why that is happening. And that is because maybe someone in the house might have a mediumship of physical effects and they're not aware of it. So those energies are being used in a different way and by some kind of spirit. It could be just a spirit that is just wanting to have fun, and is there just using that ability of that medium to make those noises. The other type of mediums that is very common today that we see a lot, we saw Chico Xavier, we see Divaldo Franco, and many others, is the writing or psychographic medium. So it's when the medium writes messages, the spirits write messages through the medium. So the manual writing is one of the simplest and easiest, right, most convenient ways for the spirits to communicate, and also one of the most complete forms, because through the writing the spirit can put everything that he wants to say in there without much interference from the medium, right? And at the same way that we had different types of the physical effects medium, we also have different types of writing mediums as well. So we have mechanical, semi-mechanical, and intuitive types of psychographic mediums, and we're going to talk a little bit about all of those. So the mechanical mediums, the spirit will act directly upon the medium's hand, independently of the medium's will. So the medium will not have a say on that. He's going to start feeling maybe he's at the spiritist center at a mediumistic session, and he's going to start feeling like his hand gets hot, or it might start to kind of get tingly, and start to get tingly and numb, and like an urge to write, to get a pen and write something kind of starts. He's going to feel that on his arm or his hands, and at that point, the spirit will take over his hand and will write through his hand. So the mechanical mediums, they cannot stop their hands even if they want. The spirit was going to write, and he's going to stop whenever he's done with the message. So there's no willing by the medium, and so it's independent on that. The spirit will act directly on it. And the medium, usually on the mechanical type of writing mediums, they are not aware of his writing, right? So he's going to write. The spirit will be writing, will take over his hand, and he's going to take a look at what he wrote after. So any kind of thought will come later. So as he's writing, there will be no thinking. He's not going to change anything that is on the message. The message is going to be written by the spirit, not by the medium. So the medium is not aware, and he's not going to be thinking about what he's writing. The other type is the intuitive medium. So this is the opposite of that one. In this case, the spirit will act upon the soul of the medium. So he's going to receive the thought of the spirit, and is going to write it down and transmit that thought through writing. So he's completely aware of what he's writing, right? And the main movement of his hand is voluntary. So he's going to be listening to what the spirit is saying, and he's going to be writing. So the spirit's going to dictate to him what he wants him to write. So in this case, the thoughts are going to come before he writes, before the action. He's going to have the thoughts, and then he's going to put it into paper. And the third kind is the semi-mechanical mediums, which is like a mix of those two, right? So the medium, the movement of the hand of the medium is going to happen without the medium being aware of it, without the medium's will, without he wanting to do it or not, right? But on the other side, he is aware of what he's writing, right? So the spirit will be using his hand to write, and at the same time, he's aware of what he's writing. He knows about what he's writing, so there's some consciousness there. And the thoughts will come during the trance. So as he's writing, he's getting that message and he's writing. So he's aware, although his hand is moving through the spirit's will. So 3 different kinds. I hope that's been clear for you all. Seeing mediums is the other type of mediumship that we're going to talk about and see here. And we hear a lot about these. So the seeing mediums are the ones that have the faculty of seeing spirits. They can see, right? They can see. And one interesting thing about this that Kardec describes on the Medium's book is that the seeing mediums, they might feel like they see through the physical eyes, but in fact, the way that they see it's through the soul's eyes. And Kardec even explained to us on the Medium's book that this is the reason why the seeing mediums, they can see spirits either with the opened eyes or the closed eyes. And also that explains why some people that are blind can also see spirits as well. Did you guys know that? Very interesting, right? But yes, blind people can also see spirits, even though they cannot see the physical world, because it's the soul's eyes that see. And the seeing mediums, they usually can see spirits in a normal awakened state. Kardec even explains that the mediums that can see spirits when they're sleeping, when they're dreaming during the night, when they're asleep, those are not seeing mediums. Those are more intuitive, meaning it's a different category. So the seeing mediums that we're talking about here, the ones that can see the spirits during the day when they're not awakened, and they retain the memory of what they see. They remember what they saw. They see it. They have like some maybe flashes, or they keep seeing the spirits, and they retain those memories with themselves. And some mediums can see at all times or see with a certain frequency. So it depends. Like we studied, like we talked a little bit before, even in the same category of mediums, the manifestations and the way that we perceive and that we express that mediumship might be different from one medium, from one person to the other. It's never the same. We're all distinct. We're all unique beings, right? So mediumship is also distinct and different for each one of us. The other category here that we're going to talk about are the hearing mediums, which are those that can hear the voice of spirits. They can hear spirits in a way or another. For some, they might hear an internal voice. So it's like a voice that's deep down, but they can discern that it's not theirs, or like, oh, they can hear it, but it's not from the external. They can hear it deep inside. Another way that people of the hearing mediums can hear is like an exterior voice, which is like clear and distinct, and which they hear just as if they're listening or hearing an incarnated person, a real person. So there's like two ways. So again, we see that the differences on expressions and manifestations of the different kinds of mediumships here. And when this faculty of hearing mediumship is developed, a person can communicate with the spirit, acting as an interpreter. So it's a very valuable category of mediumship, because it can help a lot of people when we can be an interpreter and talk, communicate, be this intermediate, this medium through the spiritual world and between the spiritual world and the physical world. And the person can also recognize the spirit by the tone of their voice. So when this faculty is developed, we can discern if it's a good spirit, if it's a bad spirit, if it's a spirit that wants to bring a good message or just want to mess up with us. So also with the hearing mediums, with the psychographic, the writing mediums, these are mediumships that can be developed, as it says here. So the more you practice, with time, with a lot of intention and discipline, we can actually develop these faculties and make it better, and make it be even more useful than as when we first find out about it. The other kind here are the speaking medium. And the speaking mediums, the spirits act upon the medium's vocal organs through the vocal cords. So we got to stop here a little bit just to kind of make sure that we understand this. So if a medium listens to a spirit and then talks and says like, oh, he's saying this and this and this is not considered a speaking medium, it's considered a hearing medium, right? And also the ones that hear a message and write it down, those are writing mediums. Because on the speaking mediums, the spirits are not going to dictate for the person to say something. The spirit is going to talk through the vocal cords and the vocal organs of that medium. So the spirit will connect with this part, with our throat chakra, with our central force that is located here, and use our vocal cords to talk without the intervention of the medium. So in general, the speaking mediums express themselves without awareness of what they're saying. Because in reality, it's not they are saying, they're not saying anything. The spirits are saying through them, right? So they're not aware of what is being said. And some might have an intuition what they're saying, or might retain an intuition what they said, what the message was. But in general, they're not aware. And again, the mediumship is expressed differently in all of us. So the same thing that we heard before applies here for the speaking mediums as well. So those were the different types of mediums, the different types of mediumships. And hopefully that was good for us to understand a little bit more about mediumship, a little bit more about how that is present in all of us, and helping us reflect and paying attention to us, through this journey of inner reformation, of self-discovery that we're doing. We can start to learn and to pay attention to our sensations, our feelings, and start to understand what happens to us, right? Or to the ones around us, so we can be able to discern if there is mediumship, in all of us. And the most important thing is to learn how this can be useful. How can we use our mediumship alongside with Jesus to help our brothers and sisters that need? How can we put this mediumship, this blessing, this faculty that we have, this skill that was given to us, how can we use it in the benefit of everyone, right? The reflection here brings a little bit about that for us, because Allan Kardec tells us that for a spirit to communicate, and for a spirit to communication to be a good one, so it needs to come from a good spirit. So a good spirit needs to gather us and talk to us to give a good message, right? To communicate something good. And for that good spirit to be able to communicate, he needs a good instrument, right? So he needs a person, a medium that is devoted, that is disciplined, that is there with good intentions, that also wants to do the good and spread the good and be useful and be helpful, right? So for a good spirit to do something good, he needs someone that is also willing to do good things. And for a good spirit to desire, really want to and desire to transmit this message, it is necessary that this message is going to be good for everyone that is going to listen to it. This makes total sense. So it must serve a good purpose for all of us. This is also what we want to find out with our mediumship. We should not be scared of mediumship. We should want to learn more once we find out that we have that within us. Because if it's there, it might serve a good purpose. It might serve not just for us, but for many that are in need around us. So let's see this as a blessing. Let's see this as a huge opportunity for us to evolve, for us to grow, for us to learn a little bit more and help a little bit more. Because through helping others, we end up helping ourselves, right? And with mediumship, that is very true. The more we help others and exercise this mediumship with good intentions, and connected through Jesus, the more we're helped, the more blessings we're going to see blossom in our lives. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this was enlightening, that you guys were able to learn something new today. And I invite everyone now to do a final prayer with me before we can go to the passage. So let's close our eyes, visualizing Jesus here with us, smiling with his arms of love around us, involving us in so much light. We thank you, dear God, for this moment, for this lesson, for opening up our minds, opening up our hearts, for all the good and the beauty that we have inside of us. May we all be able to rejoice in this opportunity that we have to study, to grow, to learn a little bit more about ourselves, and most of all, to be able to help our brothers and sisters. Stay with us, dear Jesus, throughout this day, throughout this week. We thank you, Lord. So with this, so let's now go to the passage. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Let's now take a moment for meditation to calm down and go inside ourselves. Before we start, make sure you have a bottle or a jar of water close to you, for you and your family. This water will be magnetized and blessed during the passes. Let's now silence our thoughts, preparing to receive the blessings of the passes. We begin the passes by breathing slowly and deeply, relaxing our body and our minds. Letting go of any worries, any thoughts, just for this moment. We raise our thoughts to Jesus by tuning in with the good spiritual friends, and we put ourselves in prayer. We ask God our Father for the presence of our guardian angels and all the friendly spirits by our side in this moment, asking them to assist all the homes that are being represented here. We ask God to allow us to receive His healing light, curing all physical ailments, stopping any action of infirmities, through the vibrations of these beautiful golden rays of light throughout our being. We now proceed to the dispersion pass. Let's imagine a beautiful waterfall of crystal clear waters falling over us, full of blessings, involving our whole body, removing all negative energy, thoughts, and feelings, penetrating and involving our entire body, organs, cells, and our centers of force, restoring our energies, detaching ourselves from all hurt, all anger, any nervous tensions, any guilt, sadness, and frustration, afflictions, and anxieties. We allow the action of this cleansing by putting all of our difficulties and sensations in the hands of the emissaries of Christ. We feel ourselves spiritually clean. We feel these waters involving, in this moment, the entire environment of our home, opening the doors to cleanliness and releasing all feelings of selfishness and possession. May this water clean the spiritual environment of our home from all forms of ill thoughts and feelings that may bring disharmony to ourselves and our family members. Dear God, embrace our hearts, giving everyone good intuitions and freeing us all from evil. Thank you, dear God. We now proceed to the replenishing passes. Now, after cleaning, after feeling light and happy to be free, we start the strengthening phase, restoring all of our energies. We let the light of love fall upon us by rays of restoration of our whole entire being, helping us re-energize both morally and spiritually. We visualize the team of spiritual doctors around our physical and spiritual body in this moment. We now receive this beautiful light that provide beneficial and strengthening energies. You are receiving these energies through your breath, through the pores of your body, and through your mental thoughts. These energies are strengthening your immune system, restoring to balance all of your organic activities, bringing encouragement and well-being to your entire being. We now thank Jesus and the whole team of good spirits and ask them for this light of healing and blessings to be sent to all humanity, involving all the sick and distressed due to the trials of earth at this time. Let us unite our thoughts of love to be an instrument of support so that the good spirits can act on everyone who needs it at this moment. Passes in the name of Jesus. At this moment, we imagine the hospitals and everyone there receiving this healing support, the homes of the sick and those who remain silent, still feeding the actions of this disease. We know that God acts in all of us. May His will be done. You may now serve this water for you and your family today and during this week, keeping these rays of vibrations of light and love to continue to act on your mental and physical body.